Welcome to the live stream. Rob the Maritimer here, Rob Moore, with robthemaritimer.com. It's been a long time since I've done this, and I'm doing it a new way, so going through some hiccups here and just trying to make sure I'm doing this the way it's supposed to be done. Don't think there's anybody in here yet, which is to be expected. Didn't really advertise this. I set up the the YouTube live stream about a day ago. No, 2 days ago. And so I knew I was going to go live now, but I wasn't 100% ready to do this. So I've been working on overlays and stuff this morning, trying to make it look good and all of that. So let me know what you think. Most of you who are going to watch this, by the look of the stats, are going to watch this on replay, which hopefully I set it up so that we can do it that way. Let me just quickly, yeah, I've got that. So this is the first live stream in a long time. It's been 18 months. Why did I take so long? Well, kind of a bunch of things happened. Some of you have seen my my videos know that we did move. So that took a lot of time, and I had to set up a new office, which I've done here. Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to do. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Play. Okay, that should work. A lot of setup to this live stream stuff, but the more I do it, the more I'm going to get good at it. So for now, I'm going to, I think I'm just going to schedule it once a week right now, but eventually I want to start doing it more than that. I may go live again tomorrow just to see how things shake out here today and see what I've learned in the day of live streaming. I only plan on being here for about an hour today, or longer if a whole bunch of people show up and they have questions for me to answer. I'll stay here as long as I can. Pamela Powers, I'm here. Thank you very much, Pam, for dropping in. First message from somebody other than me. So, and actually that's my first question. So for you here in the live, or for those of you who watch it later, you can comment down below in the comment section. What do you think about having the live chat also right on the screen? I think that's my understanding. So I get a lot of my advice, live streaming advice, from my son Liam, who's been doing this for years on Twitch. So I have not streamed live on Twitch. He was more on the gaming and coding side of things, whereas I'm doing it more of a business, basically to support my freelance business and teach people how to do what I do. So I believe for me, YouTube is probably the better place for me to be streaming. So I do get a lot of my advice from Liam, though, and one of the things that they do a lot over on Twitch is they show the live chat right on the screen. Like you can see here right now. Don't know how to right there. There's the live chat. On YouTube, you can also see it right beside the video in the live chat. So is it redundant on YouTube to also have it on the screen? Maybe. But the other side of it is if people see their own name popping up on the screen, sometimes that encourages more interaction. So that's not a bad thing either, since what I want these live streams to end up being is more of a back and forth thing, and not just me talking all the time. Although that's probably what it's going to be most of the time. So let me know what you think. Should I put it on the screen like it is right now, or should I not have it on the screen like it would be like, oh no, it's still on the screen there. Okay. So yeah, no, I'm still, so that's going to bring me to another point that I want to make. I'm using different stream software this time. In the past, I used StreamYard, which is a very good streaming software, browser-based streaming software. This time I'm using OBS, which there's a lot more flexibility when it comes to how you want to lay your screens out, how you want to position things, and things like that. StreamYard has introduced some customization, but they're not as flexible as OBS is yet. Now, the one thing that that I always liked about StreamYard that I could not find an easy way to do on OBS is being able to display a chat when they come in. So I'm going to use this as an example. So Pamela Powers said, "I'm here." So I now have the ability to click that and show that up on the screen. Hopefully you guys can see that. I believe you can. There it is. I'm here. So that took a little doing to get that into OBS. A little more technically involved than just using StreamYard. So if you're all about simplicity, StreamYard is a fantastic tool. There are other ones as well, but StreamYard I had a lot of success with, and I liked using it. And I may go back to it in the future. But for now, I'm just streaming from my Mac using OBS. So yeah, there we go. Now, so what's today going to be about? So I've recently come out with or released 2 new videos on my YouTube channel. One was about Camtasia and the new Rev interface that they have. And the other one is, oh, Pamela says the text is too small. Are you referring? You're referring to the chat overlay text, I believe. Is that correct? Yeah, it probably is too small. Let's see if I can try to enlarge it a little bit. There. I don't know if that helps. I'd probably have to reconfigure that. I assume that's what you mean. The text on the side of the screen. The overlay of everybody's chat and not your individual chat that I popped up below me. I think that text is a lot bigger. Is that correct? Let me know. Yeah, now if I go to this camera, that disappears. Okay. I'm going to change something really quick while I am live streaming. Pam, I think you're the only one in here right now, so bear with me one second. I'm going to switch scenes so that it is just me, and on this scene I am going to remove the chat. There we go. But I also want to add this the pop-up text. So let me see if I can do that. There we go. How's that? That's a little bit of a different view. So it's more, so I've got my camera on a rotation. I have 2 cameras. It's going back and forth between this one and that one, my second camera. And I'm using a script that kind of cycles between the two at random intervals. Let me know what you think of that as well. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do. So, but that's kind of all besides the point in terms of what this channel is supposed to be about. So if you've come here to get tips or tricks or learn more about Camtasia or Canva, that was my second video, was about Canva, like an introduction to Canva. If you want any tips on either of those 2 things, just let me know. And I will run through demonstrations here while we're live. That is the intent of this session and whenever I go live. In these early live sessions, though, there's going to be some setup and me asking you guys some questions just to make sure that it's a good back and forth. And what I'm showing you on screen makes sense to show. So let me know what you think. If the text was too small for the chat overlay, I've gotten rid of it for now in this scene. Perhaps that is best for now. I can try to bring it back larger text if it makes sense to. But for now, we'll just leave that off. Now, I still do have it on the other scene, my chatting scene, which is right here. So the idea with this scene was that when I'm finished giving a demonstration or showing you something on my screen, I would kind of revert back to this scene where it shows me larger. It still shows my screen in the upper right corner there. Oh, it switched cameras. That shows my demonstration screen, and then the chat is below that. Now again, you mentioned that was too small, but I can't really change that now because I created an overlay that has a background for that to go on, and it wouldn't fit if I tried to shrink that down now. So that's that. Now, so for a demonstration, if there's nothing you want to see me do for now, what I can do is bring up this scene here and bring up Camtasia. So why don't we go through a very quick tutorial in Camtasia. And this, actually I can get rid of my, oh no, I can leave myself there. That's fine. I'll just move this screen over a little bit, like so. There. Okay, so this is Camtasia. This is Camtasia for a Mac. Again, I switched from using a PC to a Mac back in, I think it was March or April of this year. And I love it. There are some differences in Camtasia for Mac versus Camtasia for PC. I used Camtasia for PC for years, many years. And Camtasia is not the reason I switched to a Mac. I was happy to know that Camtasia had a Mac version when I decided I wanted to switch to a Mac because I didn't want to stop using Camtasia. But after making the switch and loading up Camtasia on my Mac, I found there are some differences. The main one is to do with subtitling. And I'm not sure why this... So one of the things I always loved about Camtasia for PC was this little thing in subtitling that allowed you to basically click a word, like have the video play and you click a word each time you want a new subtitle line to be created. Okay, it's like an automated, semi-automated thing. That's going on, you're actively clicking whenever you want a new caption or subtitle to be created, like a line break. I loved that. And I used that a ton in my business, in my freelancing business, where I was offering to subtitle videos for people. So I used that a lot. If somebody gave me a video and they also gave me a transcript already, so the video is already transcribed, it's word for word, that's important. If that's all ready to go, I could load that up into Camtasia for Windows, load the transcript in, and then basically hit play and start clicking whenever I wanted to create a new subtitle. And that way, I would often make a mistake and have to stop it and rewind a bit and so on. But I could generally do a video. If it was a 5-minute video, it might take me 10 minutes to do it. And that was it. And then I would just have to go back and do some formatting. Like if I didn't want only one word after a comma on the top line of 2 lines, then I can go back and manually make those changes. So anyways, I loved that. Camtasia for Mac doesn't have that. It's just not an option that I have found. I've gone to chat rooms, I've asked Camtasia support, TechSmith support, and no, it's just not available for Mac. So I've changed the way I do subtitling because I wanted to do all my work on my Mac. Now, there are a couple clients I have that really still is the only and best way to do that. So I do still have my PC and I turn that on and I fire up Camtasia on that for those jobs because they're longer lyric type jobs, adding lyrics to music videos. If I've got the lyrics and I just have to click every so often. There are other ways to do that in a Mac. Not necessarily with Camtasia. I haven't had a lot of luck with Camtasia's subtitling on the Mac. Quite honestly, for subtitling jobs now on my Mac, I would tend to lean towards using Davinci Resolve. Again, it doesn't have that same functionality. I haven't found any program that had that same functionality that Camtasia for a PC did. None. Premiere Pro. Now, I've never tried Final Cut Pro, but I did use Premiere Pro a little bit before I decided to go to Davinci Resolve. And it didn't have it either. So there are some other programs that I use. I use Descript sometimes. That's good for transcribing videos if that's needed. But more often than not, I'll use Davinci Resolve and their new auto subtitling feature. So it basically uses AI, analyzes your video, it will transcribe it and create the subtitles in real time. I just set some parameters like how many characters per line, and do I want 1 or 2 lines? You might even be able to have 3, but I never do that. And then you hit go and you wait, and it'll run at about 15 times, maybe 10 to 15 times the speed of the video. So if there's a 15-minute video, it'll only take about 1 minute, and then it's done. Then I have to go back and edit it, of course. It's not perfect. I don't love the way it does the line breaks sometimes. One thing that really irks me is when you have a comma. So you have a sentence, and then there's a comma, and then just one word after the comma before you switch lines. So I would I would go in and fix that. I'd change where the line breaks. So anyways, that's a lot of chatting. So sorry about that. That was just a little backstory on why I switched. No, I didn't really actually tell you why I switched to Mac. Camtasia was something I had to get used to once I switched to Mac. The main reason that I wanted to switch to Mac is I want to get into making a lot of more complicated videos myself for my clients and for myself. And to do that, I would often run into problems with Camtasia if it was a large, like let's say it's a 20-minute 4K video. Now maybe I'm not adjusting my settings properly in Camtasia, but I would quite often have things crash, and Camtasia just wasn't able, or it would take forever for something like that to render if I was able to get through it and do the editing. So in getting into larger, more complicated and 4K videos, 4K 60 even, I made the switch to Davinci Resolve to use that for those larger jobs. And then when using Davinci Resolve, my PC could handle it fine, but with the new, so the Mac I got was an M1 MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip in it. And that's phenomenal. I mean, I know they have M2 Max and M3 Max. Max meaning MAX. That's the type of processor in it. So they have 2 more generations newer than mine, but still, with my current setup now, render times are very short. The computer is so fast, and it is so quiet. Again, it's a MacBook. It's not a desktop PC. And actually, I can quickly show you. If I switch views here you go. This is a different view. This is my, well, before I do that, let me go back here. This is my iPhone. Okay, I've got it on a tripod, and I've set it up. One of the great things you can do with a Mac is pair your phone to it. All things Apple tend to communicate amongst themselves very well. So I've set my my phone up as a different or an alternate scene, so I can press a button here on the Stream Deck, and then you can see what my iPhone sees. So actually, if I turn away from the mic, you're not going to hear me. But anyways, this is my current setup. That is the MacBook right there. You can see I'm monitoring the live stream. But plugged into that MacBook, you'll see I have 3 things. 1, 2, 3. One of those things is my big 32-inch 4K monitor, which I love. Another one of those things is a dock, which I have hidden back here. And then into that dock, I have two other monitors. That vertical monitor that I basically use for, it's like File Manager in Windows, or Finder in is what it's called on a Mac. So I'm dragging files back and forth between the two windows and then over to whatever program I'm working on, whether it's Camtasia or Davinci Resolve. And then this monitor that I have down here is just a small portable monitor. That is what the third one is plugged into. And what that is for, that's basically, I've got OBS running on that, and then my chat, my selective chat where I can click and show a chat on the screen. So that allows me to monitor all that's going on. So that's my current setup. So the Mac is able to run all of that easily and quiet. Like even right now, there's no sound. There's no sound coming out of the Mac, which is amazing. So my PC would be, there'd be fans going, and it sound like a bit of an airplane under my desk. That's where I've got my PC now. It's just under my desk. So it was quite loud, and it made for example, doing voiceovers very difficult, because voiceovers, obviously, it's better to have as quiet as possible. So anyways, switching to the Mac, because it was super quiet and much faster than my PC at rendering, and Davinci Resolve really takes advantage of that. So, and Camtasia is also much faster at rendering on the Mac. So anyways, that being said, it's a bit of a background and talking about my current setup. So now, why don't I go through just a quick little demo? No questions or anything yet. I'm going to launch, or I'm going to come over here to, oh, I didn't want that scene. Where am I going? Right here. So here is my large monitor up here. And that is Camtasia. I have Camtasia open. So let's quickly go ahead. So most of what I do to pay the bills is I'm a freelancer. I'm a freelance video editor, video tutorial creator, subtitle adder to videos, depending on what gig you choose. And I advertise all of those on Fiverr. But one of the things that I do quite often is make video tutorials for companies who want a video about their website. Maybe it's how to place an order or something like that. So I still use Camtasia to make these. It's like second nature now. So let's quickly run through what I would do to do that. So the first thing I do is I get some background music. So why don't I? What am I looking at here? Here, let's go. Let's open up. Actually, is there music on? I hear music. I didn't really intend for that to be on. Can you guys hear it? I think it's my Apple Music under here. Yeah, I'm going to stop that for now. Let me know if I should have kept that on. What do you think? Should I have the music on? I did make sure it was lo-fi music that is royalty free, so that shouldn't affect the playback ability of this video. Should be no strikes against it. What am I doing now? Yeah, so first thing I'll do is I'm going to find a music track. So with that, for that, I come to Epidemic Sound. Let's go to Music. Let's go down to, so I have an account with Epidemic Sound, and it allows me to download as many music tracks or sound effects as I like. So come here, let's go to, I don't know, let's go to I thought there was, here we go, tutorials. Software tutorials. And then we have options. I'm going to need the headphones to hear this. So let's just try to find one that I want to use. Okay, that could be good, just in a low volume. So I'll click here to download it. Download. Okay, so now let's go back to Camtasia. I'm going to, now you don't see me doing this now, but I'm going to create my project. I'm just going to create a quick little folder here to put this in. So new folder, test, and let's put this music in here. Okay, so I've got the music in a folder set up for this job. Now I will drag this over to Camtasia. And now I'm going to make this a little larger. That's something else I noticed on Camtasia for Mac. So again, this is Camtasia for Mac. But making these tracks, like adjusting the height of them, I find very difficult to get your mouse in the correct spot. I don't know, it seems like a bug to me, but maybe I just don't know yet how to do that. I mean, I know you can adjust them all with this little control here, but a lot of times I want to just, so I always want to make the music track as high as possible when I'm messing with the volume. So that's as high as that'll go. So now let me just click spacebar, or press spacebar. That'll play it. So that'll be our background track. Then let's get a logo. So to get a logo, let me just go to, let me just grab a logo. Where am I? One second here. Images, where graphics. Okay, here we go. All right, found a logo. So let's go back. So logo, I've just brought in a Canva logo. There we go. It's huge. So now that'll be, so the way I do most of my intros is I'll have an intro screen for about 5 seconds. And during that intro scene, I will have the logo zoom onto the screen and then zoom out, and then the video will start. During that time, the background music is louder than it's going to be during the video tutorial. So I'll just walk you through what I do. So 5 seconds is what I like these to be. So let's right click this, click duration, and it's already set to 5 seconds. I don't know if you guys can see that. I can actually zoom in here, might help. No, not working. So that's 5 seconds. Make this a little bit taller. Now this is too large, and also I don't love it on the black background. So I'll go up and I'll click Project Settings. I'm going to change this to a white background. And if you're used to Camtasia for PC, you'll notice this, even choosing colors is different on a Mac than it is on a PC, but you get used to it. Let's make this smaller. And I always want to choose, let's see, I always want to choose where, or the size that I want the logo to end up being. So that looks, so it's going to zoom onto the screen, and then this is going to be the size that it's going to be when the zoom is finished. Okay, so let's move that up there a little bit. Now what I'll do is I'm going to drag 2 animations onto this logo. So I'm going to go up to my favorites. If you don't have this in your favorites, you want to go to animations and look for custom. So animations here and then custom. I just happen to have that saved in my favorites because I use it all the time. Just drag it onto the screen, and it doesn't matter where you put it. You want to be able to, I bring it out from the left a little bit because I want to click the starting point, and I want to change the properties of that starting point. The starting point I want to be opacity 0, basically invisible, and also the scale 0, or actually I think 1% is as low as you can go. So let's go up here into properties in the upper right and drag that down as low as it'll go. That's 1%. I also want to drag down the opacity to 1%. Okay, that's done. So now if I move this back to the beginning and move my playhead and press space to start it or to play it, it animates onto the screen. Now by default, that animation is linear. And what I mean by that is, let's just stretch the timeline out a bit. The speed that it zooms in is linear, which means it starts abruptly and it ends abruptly. So I don't know if you can tell, but it just stops. What I think I think that, which is, it's called no easing or none when you choose easing. Basically, let's right click this arrow and animation easing. If you hover over that, you can see how there are choices here. Exponential in and out, bounce, spring, none, or auto. I really only ever use none and auto. You can see what they all do. Exponential in and out, if we select that and play it, I mean, that looks pretty good. Actually, it looks very similar to the auto. Maybe that is what it is. If we choose bounce, I'll show you what that looks like. Just bounces on the screen. That's kind of fun. Most of the videos I make are for businesses. They're less about the fun and more about the just quality and getting their message across. Spring is another one that I don't tend to use. Similar to bounce, only it pops on the screen faster. And the one I use is auto. Basically ease in and ease out. So the speed of the animation starts slow, ramps up at about halfway through the animation. It's at its fastest, and then it slows down to a stop. So that's how I bring it onto the screen. Now I want to bring a second animation on, like so, and this time I just want it to basically grow slowly until the intro is finished. So the way I do that is, so this animation will take over from where the other one finished. Okay, so right now I haven't changed any properties, so nothing happens. And I'm going to want to stretch this out over the entire length of the animation, of the 5-second intro. And now what I want this to be, I find that if I increase this scale by about 10% of what it starts at, that's a good look. So that's usually what I aim for. So if we come up here, we can see, how do I do this so that you can see it easier? There we go. So if we come up here, we can see the scale and the opacity of this. So I want to change the scale from 53.3 is where it's at now. If I add 10% of that, 10% is 5.3, so 8, 9. So if I go up to about 59, that's about 10%. Now you don't have to get that precise. I just usually do that in my head or with a calculator to get it close to what I'm used to. So let's just drag this up. Where were we? 53. So we want to go to 60, 61 or so, somewhere around there. Let's bring this scale back. So basically, you can just eyeball it and stretch it out over the entire length of the intro and play it back to see what it's. Oh, there's one more thing I want to show you, but let's play it back first. Okay, thought that was good. Let's check the easing again. So let's right-click the arrow once it's selected. Click Animation Easing. So none is selected now. Remember I switched it to auto for the quick animation on. This time I'm going to go with none. If I chose auto, let's just see what that looks like. I mean, that looks okay too. The key is the second animation just has to happen over a longer period of time and animate a much smaller change in scale. That's what I think looks best. And if I kind of ease in and ease out in the beginning and then it just kind of slowly grows until it fades out, I think that is a good look. And that's why I don't usually choose to have auto easing here. I usually choose none. I just think that looks better for my clients. That's the way I've always done it. So that's what I'm going to leave it at. The one last thing I wanted to do is I want to put a fade at the end. So I'll just drag one down here, and I have my fade set to what is it, 415 to 4. So I have this project set at 30, isn't it? 30 frames per second. It is. I'm going to change that to 60. I always like to use 60 because I believe that gives better and smoother animations when you render it. So 60 frames per second now, and we can see. Actually, I'll zoom in here so you can see. So this ends at 5 seconds, and the animation starts at 4 seconds and 30 frames, which is 4.5 seconds. Okay, that the second number there right here is the number of frames. So yeah, that's what I think looks the best, and but you can decide for you. Okay, there you go. Just quickly checking messages. Liam says looks clean. Thanks, Liam. That's one of the things I have to get better at. Again, it's been a long time since I did these live streams, but I do know one of the things I wasn't good at in the past was looking at the live chat. So this is that work there? No. So yeah, this lower monitor here is supposed to help make this better for me and easier, that I won't miss things, but I missed that one. Hopefully you didn't post that too long ago. Anyways, and the other thing is Liam says you're getting better at it. Thanks. Actually, there's one thing I want to change. If I go back to the chatting scene, I'm going to copy the display chats from this scene and bring it to my here, the scene, and paste it here. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Delete that. Bear with me. There we go. Copy that, come back to my monitor and paste it there. So now that should pop up on the, so now I should be able to select chats on this scene as well, and they'll pop up. And actually, just one more thing, sorry, I'll change, I'm going to copy this and put it on the one that has me in the corner. Copy, paste, there. That should do it. What I have, so basically what I did, I'm not good at talking through while I do this stuff, but the display chats. So when I see a chat that I want to put on the screen, so Liam just said here, I can click it. You'll have to show me how you did that to the chats with OBS. It looks great. Thank you. And it wasn't that easy, and I'm still kind of getting used to it. You have to do it for every scene. But I have figured it out. So yeah, but that's what I'm going to do. These initial live streams are going to be all about kind of making the live streams better as well. So there's going to be some hiccups along the way that when I want to try to figure things out. So I already know from Pamela earlier, Liam, just bringing you up to speed, Pamela mentioned that when I show the chat overlay of all the chats, on the screen. So this one right here, this scene, when I show this, these words apparently look too small. Let me know your thoughts on that too. I don't think that's a huge problem to make it bigger. I didn't design the overlay that I'm using here to handle it being bigger. So maybe I bring myself over to fill the entire screen, and then this chat overlay sits below the demonstration window. So I wanted to keep the demonstration window on this scene as well. Here's the, no, this one here. This is the demonstration window up here. So that's the way I've done that, and I've got my main chat here. Again, it's on a cycle. The different cameras are rotating through. It's only using the 2 cameras right now. The third camera that I showed you earlier is this one, and that's my iPhone, which I can kind of move around however and show you the office and my setup and all that stuff. But that doesn't go into my video switcher, so it's not able to be in the loop of the different cameras that are switching. But that's not a big deal. I'm hardly ever going to use that camera. It's just there in case somebody has a question about my setup or I want to show something else in my office. So yeah, anyways, once this live stream is done, I'll probably tinker with the overlays again and try to get it set up a little bit better. So, and I will show you how to pop up these chats. Okay, so you can pop them down too, just like I did. Okay, so again, back to what I was doing. So I've got this little, this is just a quick run through of how I set up an intro or how I start a video tutorial job. So again, 5-second intro for a logo coming onto the screen. What's that? Okay. I had a camera beeping in my background. Liam says, I think your camera's filling the whole screen is a good idea. Yeah, I think so. You had a good point in that if I don't fill the whole screen, then it's kind of wasted space, wasted real estate. So that makes sense. I also think it's important that the monitor that I'm demonstrating on fills up most of the screen as well. So I might even change that. So the way I have this displayed right now, it's a 4K monitor, so the text is small on it. And I think that probably translates into the text being small on the screen so that you probably have a hard time to see it. So I'm going to watch this video back afterwards just to see how I can make it better. Okay, back to the intro. Now that we have this intro on, the last thing I do, or the next thing I do, I like to match it up with the music. So if at all possible, like I'd like at this point right here, right here, where the first intro finishes, at that point, I usually like that to occur on a beat or at the start of a beat, if that makes sense. Kind of a general video editing tip is when you're editing videos, you want to make cuts on beats of the music that you're editing on. So picking the music first is what I always do, and I think that makes a lot of sense. So let's just, I'll change this view again. Let's just see what this sounds like and when the beat comes in. I mean, I think that's fine. It's the other thing I could do is later on, I believe the song speeds up a little bit. You can kind of tell by the audio waveforms here. Let's see if there's a better spot that we'd want to start this. It does pick up there. And actually, there's an awful lot of just drum beats early on. I don't think I'm going to use those. So let's trim this back to the beginning. Let's see if we can't find a better beginning for this intro. I'm going to say on that beat here, might be a good time to start it. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, yeah, I do like that. The only thing I'm going to change here is at the beginning, it does start off, it starts with a boom, right? Like almost right away. So, and you can almost hear a bit of the part that we're not using before the first beat. That's this part right here. Actually, I'm going to try something else. This is another tool that I may use for these chats or for these live streams, and it's called Epic Pen. And let's just, I'm going to keep it on my other monitor, but if I click on an arrow, so if I want to demonstrate something here, I can just point and click like that. What do you think? Is that cool or what? I can erase it. If I want to draw a circle, like a pencil tool. Oh no, that's erase. A little laggy. I don't know how good that was. Maybe just sticking to the shapes. So if I wanted to draw a circle around like this area here. Yeah, no, okay. Anyways, that's going to take some getting used to. But anyways, so what I was going to do is, oh, let's turn this off. Erase. Bear with me 1 second here. I have to figure out how to close it. There we go. Quit. All right. I'll come back to Epic Pen another time. Yeah, so I wanted to fade this audio in, is what I was getting at. So I'm going to come up here to audio effects and grab this fade in. There's two ways to do this. You can either grab the fade in and drop it in place. Now I don't want it to take that long. Let's grab this and bring it back. Keep it at about 100%. There, that should help. You can even start it a little bit later. I think that's better. Kind of splitting hairs here a little bit, but I just don't like it coming on too harshly. Let's try it again. Try to move it a little bit more. That's better. Okay, so I mentioned there's two ways to do that. You could drag this fade in down there, or you can just come down here with your cursor and right click and select add an audio point. So you right click here, add audio point, and then you can, that's how I could have added that, right? So let me just Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, let's get back here. So what I could do is right click, add an audio point, right click again, add an audio point. You don't have to be too exact as where you add it. This one you want to drag over here and right down to the bottom, and then this one put it wherever you want, keeping the height at 100%. Okay, so that's the beginning done. Just make sure it sounds okay. Yep, so okay. The idea is when this logo fades out, what we're going to do is then start the voiceover and start the tutorial. Okay, so to do that, this music is going to be too loud. So I'm going to right click here, add an audio point, right click here, add another audio point. Okay, I added two audio points because I want to decrease the volume from this 100% down to a lower amount, and what I use is 20%. Sometimes it depends on the actual music that I'm choosing. It might have to be more or less, but I find 20% generally is a good starting point. So I'll come down here to 20%, and then if we look at the entire job, we'll see this music track is over 5 minutes long. Video tutorials typically aren't that long. If they were, I can basically copy this track and put it at the end and stitch it together on the beat. But that won't be necessary with a track that's this long. Let's say the video tutorial is going to be 1.5 minutes. We can either click here and drag this in to that point, or I can just highlight it and split it, and then highlight and then hit the delete or the backspace button. Okay, so that just shortens our music track. And at the end, what I'll do is I'm going to usually end a video tutorial with the logo coming back on screen. But I don't do that until the end. So let's just quickly see what this sounds like now at the beginning. The intro. Okay. I'm actually going to fade it out a little sooner. Now you can always adjust this once you have the voice track. Okay, so this is our template for a video tutorial, making a video tutorial on using Canva. So that's how I would start. The next step, which I'm not going to demonstrate right now, I have to figure out how I will demonstrate that, but I will figure it out, is I do the voiceover. Okay, so there are two settings that I have my mic set on typically. One at a time though. There are two things I use my mic for. I use it for live streams like this, and I use it when I make videos, whether they're for, video tutorials for clients or videos for myself. And when I do those, I will do voiceovers. And the difference is how close I put the mic to my phone, to my mouth. Right now, the mic is right here. I'm going to change this to this one or this one. You can see it in this view. My mic is right there. It's just out of frame on this view, but on the side view over here, you can see it. This is the mic right here, and I have it on a boom arm. Show you. The mic is right here. Okay, and I've got it on a boom arm that goes back there and is attached to my desk. God, you can see the cat here. Attached to the desk. And so what I do is I have it set here for live streaming, and on my audio interface I have it set at about 3/4, the gain set at about 3/4. The higher you have that, the more sound it picks up. But you have to remember, the further the microphone is away from your mouth, the more echo there will be. It's not going to sound as good, especially if your room is not a treated room for sound. And this room isn't too bad. I've got a couple of blankets hanging and some curtains, but it's not perfect. It's a 9-foot ceiling, and there's lots of space on either side of me here. So I do have a chair in here. So the more things you can put in your room to basically catch sound and not let it bounce back to you and the microphone, the less reverb or echo you'll have in your recordings. But the further that you put the mic away from your mouth, the more echo you're going to introduce back. So for live streams like this, I didn't want, and I may change. I can take these off for now. I may change in the future. I may have, I may put the microphone in the shot. I know for podcast videos, they'll typically put the microphone in the shot so that you can see it, and then it's closer to the person's mouth, and the sound is better. For this live stream, I've had it down here before, like below, but then the arm gets in the way of. I've got a lot of things going on here. I use my mouse, my keyboard, I write notes, and I just found it was always in the way. So I've got it up and out of the way. I suppose if I mounted it over here and had it come in right by the side, but it'll still be in my way if I look at my Mac. So I guess for the live streams, I'm sacrificing a little bit of audio quality to get the microphone out of the shot. But if I'm going to do a voiceover, I'm going to bring the microphone right, and let me just do this. I'm going to bring the microphone in, I have to move my Mac, real close like this. Okay. But now what I also do is I will take this little, what do you call this? It's a pop filter, I believe is what they're called. A little bit of foam inside, and it's just a generic one. You can grab the elastics and create a hole like that, and I put it right over top of the microphone. Okay? All that does is it helps with the, like when you're recording your voice, it helps with the like the plosives, I believe they're called. Now, you might have noticed that I might sound a little too loud now because the microphone is closer, so I'm trying to lower my voice a little bit. But what I do for recording is I will take the gain knob, and I know that if I have it at 12 o'clock, which is about half, it's better for voiceover. So let me dial this down. Okay, now it's set at about half. Now I can bring the mic closer to my mouth like this, and it should sound a lot better. For you guys. I can't tell because I have all my sound off so that you don't get feedback. Let's see, there's another problem that I have. When I put the mic here, I go out of focus unless I'm right beside it. Anyways, I find it's harder when you have it this close. I find it like it's now I can't see the stream deck because it's in my way. I don't love it like this, but when I'm doing a voiceover, I put it this close and I open up my recording software and I record my voiceover, and then I process it, and then I'll take this mic and I'll put it up out of the way. I take this pop filter right here. I take this pop filter off when I'm doing a live stream or a video where I don't want the mic in my face because I'm not talking directly at it, so you don't need this. I'm going to change views here. I want to make sure I got this back in the right spot. So right about here and just up a little and out of frame. Is it out of frame? I think so. Anyway, close enough. Oh, gain. Got to put the gain back up for live streaming. There. Does that sound better? It'll be interesting to watch this back and to see... so we're at. We've been live streaming for 58 minutes. So I'm going to keep a note of that. 58 minutes audio. I'm going to go back and check that. I want to see what it sounds like at all the different gain levels that I had changed. So anyways, yeah, so why did I get that? Yeah, so I'm not going to record a voiceover right now for this demonstration. Keep pressing the wrong one. I'm not going to do the voice recording now, but I will do one in an upcoming live stream. So, but that's the next step here, is to do my voiceover. And let me just go grab, well, actually, no, this I've shown you this this demonstration of Canva. Now let me go, I'm going to open a project. So the video that I made about Camtasia Rev, I made that in Camtasia. I made the video itself in Camtasia, I believe. Let me just double check, make sure I'm not lying to you. Where are you here? Camtasia Rev. Yeah, I made that in Camtasia. So why don't I open that up? I'm going to open that project up and show you how involved some of these videos can get. Taking some time. There we go. So I'm just going to go back here and close this other one. We're going to call that test, and I wanted to put it where am I putting this? I'll do it later. Okay, put it there. Okay, so I'm going to close this. And now let's bring this up. Check this out. So this is the video I made about Camtasia Rev. We're going to go all the way to the back here, or the beginning, and stretch it out here. So I do have some music in here. It was very low. And now this one, so this is different. It's not a video tutorial in the sense that I had a voiceover after an intro. This one, I started immediately with my voice, because that's one thing with YouTube videos too. You want to make sure that to hit the point of the video really quick, or you're going to lose viewers right away. So you can't have like a long drawn out intro before it starts, or it's not advisable to. But you can experiment with different ways to do it. But let's just play this.
In this video, I'm going to show you Camtasia Rev, recently added to the latest version of Camtasia 2023. I'll show you how it can speed up your workflow and how it could actually slow you down. I was editing a video for a...
Okay, so a lot of stuff going on here. So these are not what I would call voiceovers. It was me capturing myself and the audio together at the same time. So that's why you don't see the microphone in the scene, because I have it up here above my head, but you also don't get the really low close-up, or sorry, you don't get the deep voice tone that I would normally get in a voiceover. Okay, so that is an example of not a voiceover. Let me bring up a client video that I did recently that does have a voiceover. Let's see here, where am I going? Yeah, let's open this one up. So this is another client. This is a client job that I'm opening up here that I did. Okay, so this, as you can see, so now this should look familiar to you in terms of looking very close to what it, or looking similar to the intro that I did, that I walked you through a few minutes ago. Okay, so if I press play, and let's not zoom this in that far so you can actually see it being played. So slow zoom fast zoom followed by the slow zoom. Then it fades out.
At glasssupply.com, we provide custom cut.
Okay, so I don't know if you could tell, but the quality of that audio is better than the quality of the other one, where the mic was not on, like right up to my mouth. In this case, it was a voiceover that I made. I'm not on screen. I'm never on screen with my client videos. So I can do a voiceover with a microphone right up to my mouth, and I turn the gain down so that I don't clip or you don't get static by having your recording levels too high. And yeah, so that's...
At glasssupply.com, we provide custom cut glass products like glass railings.
Okay, and then at the end, so I won't walk you through the whole thing. I've got the video, I've got a couple of highlights that I do, and then at the end of the video, oh, I'm zoomed in here, you'll see I've got the logo again. So the way I typically will end things, I can show you here, is I will fade out the last scene. This is a little fade right here. And I've zoomed in too far so you can't see that. Let's go back here and hit play. Now, could you tell that it faded out? Okay, so, and then the logo, I actually will copy the logo from the beginning. So I'll highlight it, Control C to copy it, and I'll come to the end, Control V, I paste it. Actually, let me start this over again. Let's delete the one that I already have there. So I'll show you exactly what I do. So when I'm finished the video, I've got the voiceover, I've laid the recordings on top. Now I just have to add the ending. So I'll come to the intro here, highlight it, Control C to copy it, or Command C on a Mac. Then bring your playhead to the end, Control or Command V to paste it. Now let's just zoom in here. I bring this back so that it snaps to the end of this right here. Okay, and it still has the same slow zoom after the fast zoom, right? Let's zoom this up so you can see it. Now the difference is I don't want it to fade to black like that. So what I'll do is I'll highlight this fade transition, I'll delete it, and then I will grab the end of the logo and I'll stretch it to the end of the music. Now I had already decided on this, so this music, like the track was not over, but that's all I needed it to be. It was 1 minute and 58 seconds. So when the speaking was finished here, I put an audio. So again, you right click and you click to add an audio point like that. I can delete that one, right click it and delete the one I just added. And then I put another one here and I brought the volume back up, and then there's a slope to this line. Usually that's pretty consistent, but with this particular piece of music at this point in time, the music started to come back on stronger here, and I just felt it was too strong for the ending of a video. So let's just see what it sounds like now.
Every step of the way.
There. So, whoops. What am I doing? Hard bouncing around here. So yeah, so that's, there we go. So that is, that's how I do that. Again, let's make this music track a little taller. There we go. So yeah, usually I'll have it up here, whatever this height is, usually around 100. So that's 99. And if this were 99, and I usually start fading out the music once the slow zoom stops. So if you see at that point right there, the logo is fixed on the screen. It's not going to zoom anymore. But again, I find that that is too loud, so I added this other audio point in here and I dropped that down. I just thought that sounded better. Like that. Anyways, you can play around with it, whatever sounds best, and it'll depend on the audio track you pick and what it sounds like at the point where you're ending your video. You may have to do some audio adjustments like that. So yeah, that's a bit of an example of how I do that, how I make a video tutorial. I showed you how I set it up in the beginning with an intro. Gave you a few pointers on how to record your voiceover. We are over an hour, I believe, into this live stream, so I think I'll wrap it up. Any questions? No other questions. So yeah, so next time perhaps I'll go through exactly how I grab the screen recordings in Camtasia, and why I have so many. Like if you look here, see all the different breaks I have? There's a lot. So there's a lot, and they all have these little arrows here. All these clip speeds, 1.2. What is that one? Can't see them all if they're too small. That's just 1 times. That's 1. That's 0.78. That's 1.63. So they're all different. They're all different, and that's just a function of the way I make it's the way I make the videos. I lay the voice track down first, and then I put the video tutorials on top of them, and then I make adjustments to clip speeds, and sometimes I'll add spaces in between voiceover sentences as well to suit. So I'll talk more about that next time. I see here Pamela Powers said something. Would you consider starting a half hour later? Yes, absolutely I would. What was this? This was 10 a.m. Eastern, which is actually 11 a.m. here. I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. So we are, we're 1 hour east of, say, Toronto, New York, Boston time. And I wasn't sure what time to start these. I'm looking for feedback, actually. So whoever tunes in to this, I think we only get up to like 3. I think we were at 4 viewers at one point. And I knew it wasn't going to be very busy in here today. But in time, these should grow. So if you watched it live, great, thank you. Let me know what time works best for you for me to go live. If you're watching this on the replay, then let me know that in the comments below. Also, as soon as I end this live stream, you won't be able to live chat, so you'll have to mention it in the comments below. And I will try to go live when most of you want me to. So my schedule is somewhat flexible, especially if I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll try different times throughout the week. So for now, I thought, 11 a.m., which is 10 a.m. I don't want to go too deep into the afternoon just in case I have something else going on. But I understand some of you, Pamela Powers is in California. So 11 a.m. for me is 7, I believe. 4 hours. 7 a.m. for you. So yeah, that was a bit early for you. But thank you so much for stopping in. I appreciate it. And yes, I will consider starting later, half hour, maybe even an hour later. But with that said, I think I will wrap this up right now. Thank you very much again. And the next live stream, I don't know when it'll be, but when I do have another one, I might even come back on tomorrow just to test some things out. When I do come back on, I will try to set something up so that you can tell that I'm going to come back on. I'll try to set it up. I can't. If I come back on tomorrow at the same time, it won't be 24 hours notice, but we'll see. I'll set up a scheduled live stream ahead of time so that you'll get notified. I wouldn't mind knowing actually when you guys who saw this, when were you notified? Because I had this one scheduled 48 hours before it started. And I've heard that 24 hours is it's good to start them or to schedule them at least 24 hours ahead of time. But if you're going to do it every day, then obviously you can't do that unless you do it, you preset them up, which I may look at doing. So anyways, that's it for now. Thanks again for stopping in, and I will see you next time.